Three little letters quietly added thousands of dollars to the price of some of the most popular cars in this country, and almost nobody who paid it could tell you what those letters even mean. NVES. If you have walked into a dealership in the last year and felt the sticker price jump for no reason anyone could properly explain, this is the reason. The carmakers blame these three letters for every price rise. The government swears these three letters do not raise prices at all. Both of those things cannot be true. So somebody is not telling you the whole story, and by the end of this, you are going to know exactly who is paying for it. Here is the part that should bother you. It might already be you, and you would never have known. Before we go any further, one quick thing. This is not financial advice. Everything here is built on publicly available data and my own reading of it. The numbers are real, and I will tell you where they come from. The conclusions are my opinion. What you do with your own money and your own car is your call. With that said, let me show you the 7 things the car companies would rather you did not put together, because once you see how this fits, you cannot unsee it. And I am saving the biggest one for number 7, because when you understand it, you will understand why some brands are quietly getting richer while you pay more. Stay with me. So what actually is this thing? NVES stands for the New Vehicle Efficiency Standard. In plain English, the government set a limit on the average emissions a carmaker's whole range is allowed to produce. Sell too many thirsty, high-emission cars, and the carmaker builds up a debt. Sell clean, efficient ones, and they earn credit. It started on the 1st of January 2025, and the part with real teeth, the part where penalties and credits actually started being counted, kicked in from the 1st of July. Now, hold that start date in your head, because the first thing they will not tell you depends on it entirely. And let me show you right now that this is not theory. From the 1st of July, the iconic Ford Mustang went up by around $5,000 across the range, and Ford itself pointed to this scheme as a factor in the decision. The big Nissan Patrol 4-wheel drive copped a price rise of about $5,000, with Nissan again naming this scheme directly. The Isuzu MU-X climbed by something in the order of $7,000. These are not small numbers, and they are not rumors. They are real price rises on real cars that real families buy, and in each case, the maker reached for the same 3 letters to explain it. So the price rises are absolutely happening. The question that matters is the one nobody is answering honestly. Are those rises truly the cost of the rule, or is the rule a convenient name to hang on a bigger number? That is what these 7 things will show you. And number 1, this is not a tax on you. Let me say that again, because the whole trick depends on you misunderstanding it. The penalty under this scheme is not a fee you pay at the dealership. It is not a line on your invoice. It is a bill the manufacturer might owe the government. And here is the part almost nobody knows. As of right now, not a single dollar of penalty has actually been paid. The way the scheme is written, brands that ran up a debt have until the end of 2027 to balance their books, and the first real penalties are not even calculated and issued until 2028. So when a salesperson leans across the desk and tells you the price went up because of NVES, understand what is really happening. They are quoting you a cost that in many cases has not been charged to anyone yet. They are pricing in a future maybe, and you are paying for it today. Keep that gap in mind, the gap between what they say you owe and what anyone actually owes, because that gap is where the next 6 things live. Number 2, they pulled the cheap version on purpose, and they did not make a fuss about it. Here is what happened while most people were not watching. Ford quietly dropped the cheaper rear-wheel drive version of the Everest, because that variant would have dragged their emissions average the wrong way. Isuzu did the exact same thing with the rear-wheel drive MU-X. Kia ended the V6 petrol versions of the Carnival People Mover and the Sorento SUV. Now think about what that actually does to you as a buyer. It is not that the price of one car went up. It is that the cheapest door into that model got bricked over. The entry point disappeared, and suddenly the only versions left to buy are the dearer ones. That is a price rise, but it is a sneaky kind because there is no headline saying prices went up. The cheap option just quietly stops existing, and you are funneled upward without ever being told that is what happened. And if you think that is irritating, wait until you see how many of the cars Australians actually love are now in the firing line. Number 3, your favorite car is probably already on the list. This is not some fringe problem affecting a handful of exotic V8s. According to the analysis of the 2025 sales numbers, 8 of the 10 best-selling vehicles in the entire country are set to attract penalties under the Titan 2026 targets. 8 out of 10. We are talking about the Ranger, the Hilux, the big diesel SUVs, the 4-wheel drives that tow the boat and haul the family. The vehicles that are practically a national uniform out on the road. These are not niche products. They are the best-selling things on 4 wheels in Australia, and under the rules as they tighten this year, most of them are now on the wrong side of the line. So when people say this scheme only hits a few gas guzzlers, that is exactly backwards. It hits the mainstream hardest because the mainstream in this country runs on diesel utes and heavy SUVs. Now here is where it gets genuinely slippery, and this is the one I really want you to understand. Number 4, the price rise on your car might have nothing to do with your car. This is the heart of it. This is the bit the title promised you. Because the scheme works on a manufacturer's whole average, a brand does not have to raise the price of the specific thirsty model that caused the problem. They can quietly lift prices across the entire range, including on efficient models that produce no penalty at all, and just bundle the cost in where it is least visible. So you can walk in to buy a perfectly economical car that costs the maker nothing under this scheme and still pay more because the price rise is spread across everything to cover the thirsty models you did not buy. Think about that. You can be the responsible buyer, choosing the efficient option, and still be subsidizing the bloke buying the big rig next to you. That is what it is really costing you, and almost nobody explains it that way because explaining it that way makes it very hard to keep blaming a government rule with a straight face. Now remember, at the very start, I told you that one brand quietly charges you far less than another for this exact same rule. This is where I pay that off. Number 5, not all brands make you pay the same, and the difference is enormous. Here is the thing they will never volunteer. How much of this lands on you depends almost entirely on which badge you walk up to. Take a brand that sells a huge volume of efficient hybrids. They can spread any cost across hundreds of thousands of vehicles. And on top of that, their clean models are earning them credit, which cushions the whole range. One analysis showed that even a worst-case penalty, spread across a giant maker's annual sales, works out to only a few $1,000s per car at most, and for a hybrid-heavy brand, far less than that. Now compare that to a small brand that sells thirsty cars in low numbers, with nothing clean to balance them out. They have no volume to hide the cost in and no credits to lean on, so a far bigger share lands on each car, and therefore on you. So two people can buy two different cars, hit by the very same rule, and one of them quietly pays a fraction of what the other does, purely because of how their chosen brand's whole range stacks up. The rule is the same. The bill is wildly different, and not one salesperson is going to draw you that picture. But here is the move that genuinely gets under my skin, and I promised you it would be number 2 on your annoyance list. It is next. Number 6, the car makers can simply buy their way out. You and I, if we break a rule, we cop the consequence. A car company has another option. The scheme was deliberately designed so that a brand drowning in emissions debt can just purchase credits from a brand that has a surplus. They do not have to build cleaner cars. They do not have to change a single thing about what they sell you. They can write a check to a rival, square the ledger, and carry on exactly as before. And here's the irony that should make you sit up. The brands sitting on the biggest piles of surplus credit to sell are the electric and hybrid specialists, including the very Chinese brands and the electric makers that the established players spend so much energy warning you about. So a legacy car maker can stay non-compliant, keep selling you thirsty vehicles, and simply funnel money to the new rivals to make the problem disappear on paper. It is all completely legal. It was built into the design. But understand what it means. The penalty was supposed to push them to build cleaner cars. Instead, for some, it has just become a cost of doing business, a fee they pay to keep selling you the same thing, and a fee that, one way or another, gets worked back into the price you pay. Which brings me to the big one. The thing almost no ordinary buyer in this country knows is even happening. Number 7. There is now a secret carbon currency for cars, and it is already worth a fortune. While everyone was arguing about petrol prices, this scheme quietly created an entirely new tradable commodity in Australia. Sell a clean car, mint a credit. Sell a dirty one, rack up a debt. And in just the first few months, the system generated a surplus of roughly 16 million of these credits. 16 million. A brand new form of currency, conjured out of emissions math that most people driving to work this morning have never heard of. And the brands are already stockpiling it like gold. The big hybrid maker banked millions of these credits. The electric specialists are sitting on huge surpluses. Meanwhile, several well-known names you would recognize instantly are quietly racking up debt that, sooner or later, they have to settle, either by buying their way clear or by eventually paying real penalties. So picture what is actually forming here. A market in permission to pollute. where the clean brands are becoming the bank and the thirsty brands are becoming the borrowers. And every cent that changes hands in that market eventually traces its way back to the price on a windscreen somewhere. And here is the kicker that makes it worse every single year. The targets do not stay still, they tighten hard. The limit for passenger cars started at 141 grams, drops to 117 this year, and then plunges all the way down to 58 grams by 2029. So the debt the thirsty brands are running up does not shrink, it grows. The pressure to buy credits or to bury the cost in your sticker price gets stronger with every year that passes. That is the thing they really will not tell you. Not that there is a rule. You can find the rule. They will not tell you that a whole hidden economy has grown up around it, that it gets more expensive to be on the wrong side of it every year, and that you are, indirectly, the one funding it. So let me bring this together, because the title asked a simple question. What is it really costing you? Here is the honest answer. It is not costing you a tax, because there is no tax. It is costing you the cheap version of the car that quietly disappeared. It is costing you a price rise spread across efficient models you chose responsibly. It is costing you the gap between what one brand can absorb and what another shoves onto you. And it is costing you your share of a hidden credit market you were never told existed. The rule itself was meant to make cleaner cars cheaper over time, and one day it might. But right now, in the gap between how it was sold to the public and how it actually works in a showroom, there's a lot of money moving, and a lot of it is moving out of your pocket under a name you were never properly taught. So here is the one thing to actually do with all this before you buy your next car in 2026. Before you sign anything, find out whether the brand you are looking at is sitting in credit surplus or running an emissions debt. Because a brand swimming in surplus credit has no real pressure to keep lifting prices on you. A brand deep in debt has every reason to keep quietly working that cost into the sticker, year after year, as the targets get tighter. That single piece of homework tells you more about where that brand's prices are heading than any salesperson will. The owners who understand this will buy smart. The ones who do not will keep paying for a rule they were told to be afraid of and never had explained. Now, all of this raises the obvious next question. If some cars are about to get quietly more expensive because of all this, then some cars must be about to get cheaper, or at least hold their value far better than the rest. So, which ones are which? Which cars should you be buying right now before the next round of price rises lands, and which ones are about to drop like a stone? I have broken exactly that down in the next video, and it is on the screen for you now. Have a proper look before you make a single move, because in this market in 2026, the people who read the rules early are the ones who stop paying for everyone else.